just now you mentioned that Najib, that former Prime Minister Najib could be indicted. What sort of situation would make it ideal for him to be indicted in France?
I didn't get you.
You said that there's a possibility that former PM Najib might be indicted in France. What sort of situation would lead to this happening?
I can't make any scientific prediction. It's a complex puzzle, the corruption case. So there have been already collected some pieces of the puzzle, which obviously make clear that Najib Razak is really involved in the case. But you cannot indict someone only because of presumption. And there are some presumption, it appears. And of course it's clear that he could be the beneficiary of the commission at the end. It could be, I say it could be. But for the moment, missing the smoking gun in terms of proof to establish definitively that he was not only one of the orchestra's chief, but also a beneficiary of the commission. But it could be possible. It depends on, of course, what will be the outcome of the intensification of the cooperation between the two states, as I said before. And we don't know yet. It could be possible that some new events will occur. And it could depend also on the fact that Hong Kong could accept to open the door and to give access to the bank accounts, which is, as I say, for the moment, one of the black holes of the file. You remember that Hong Kong has signed, as the majority of the international community, the Berlin Agreement, organized by OECD, committing, and this creates a commitment for an automatic exchange of information. But it's clear that for many political reasons, Hong Kong for the moment is not the most respectful of this agreement among the world.
Has they formally rejected your request?
No, there was no formal refusal. It has been more tricky game. Hong Kong said we need information again and again, but it's not able to say. It's not impossible to say that they could try to buy time.
What about the particular name of the few shell company instead?
Excuse me.
What were the names of these?
Terra Sassi, created by Thales. Terra Sassi. That's it. Terra Sassi. Terra Sassi. Two companies named Terra Sassi have been created. One in Hong Kong. Yeah.
When do you expect the next phase of investigations in France to be in court? Because the last time we heard anything from court in France was in 2017. So when is the next update?
Well, the thing is, we are hoping that maybe in 18 months, couple of years, it will be over. But the change of government here may, finally launch this cooperation, and so it may take more time in order for all this cooperation to actually be working and for the information to get to one case and to the other. So this change of government maybe opened a new door to this investigation, and so the case may be more active than it's been for the last few years, given this new change. So we're really hoping, even if it takes a little more time, that we get much truth from this new cooperation. So it might take a little time.
And, pardon. Now, just to say that we met the lawyer of Al-Tantuya family. And Al-Tantuya crime, of course, brings a weird smell of thriller in the case. we understand that Alan Touya spent some time in Paris. Was it only for interpretation? The question is still on the table. And it's also one avenue. We can consider that it could be possible that this new civil case here pending in Kuala Lumpur could be helpful to bring to the Malaysian and French judge other pieces in this complex puzzle, especially regarding the link between Baginda and Najib Razak.
Can I just clarify on that point? Because the Scorpene deal happened in 2002, right?
Yes.
But Alan Touya was in France in 2004 or late 2004, early 2005. How does this work for the time investigations?
The thing is, we are still.
This is a good question.
There's a good question about this because we know she came. We understand she had a part in translating things in the Scorpene discussions. So this trip in 2004 needs to be clarified for sure. And her role in the discussions also needs to be clarified. And this is why we think that her part could bring, if one day, we manage to get to know more, a new lighting on the discussions and on how this deal was made.
So
I think-
are there any documents to show that she was involved?
Yes, no, just to
No,
add,
yeah.
if you pay attention to the detail, there are two contracts. One is the sale of the submarine, the other is on the service,
Yes.
the after sale.
Yep.
So Altan Touya, if I recall, and please correct me if I'm wrong, appeared in a number of times in the prosecutor's investigations for the second contract. I mean, it's like that part, the service. So I think it is consistent to say that her role might have been after the sales. But that needs further investigation, and I think you would be in a better position to say that the French was actually not very keen on pursuing the Altan Touya track, but more the monetary payment, which led to possible bribery and corruption and all that. So, but it's a very interesting interlink. And I think your question about the chronology of events is quite consistent in how it appears. But just since I'm also talking, I just wanted to say that some of the questions that are being asked about Najib is quite interesting because the convention normally is it's very hard to bring to book a sitting prime minister. So now the prime minister is no longer a prime minister. And it appears now that in the new context, Malaysia has also reopened the investigations. So for all this while, as long as Najib was in power, it was never possible because he would never want himself to be investigated. So now, if you Google the news, I think it was something that just came in passing because MECC also now suddenly very active, that they have actually questioned Najib on the Scorpene case. So it's very interesting for the media to follow the trail on the Malaysian side. And so the meeting with the Attorney General and all that is supposed to look at the Malaysian progress and the French progress and see how to connect the investigations on both sides. So it's already been reported that he has been hauled up for questioning. And so after that, what? You should actually try to pursue it with MECC and so on.
Just to clarify, you mentioned that Altan Touya appeared a number of times in prosecuted papers. This is in France. You mentioned it was in France.
Can you repeat? Sorry.
No. Did her name
Cynthia
appear in
mentioned
the
that Altan Touya appeared in
Well,
a number of prosecuted papers.
Her name does appear, and of course, what happened to her makes it, as William just said, like a sort of thriller thing, and shows like how far can you go for corruption when it comes to those kind of things. So even though French authorities are not investigating her murder because they're not even competent or whatever, it is something that hardly is kind of rare. And thank you, it's rare in such cases, but it definitely is something they're interested in without necessarily having the power to investigate in. but her name does come up.
All right.
I have a technical question about Terra Sassi. Because it has been created by Thales, so why don't the judge request from Thales France the release of the accounting? Could they do that or not?
They haven't found it. No.
We cannot answer for the judge. But there is a principle in France is even if it is more or less fictitious, the autonomy of each company, each legal entity. I have no doubt on the fact that the French judge did their best to obtain these documents. But
There's nothing technically where they couldn't really ask and get them, right? Or do they really need to go through Hong Kong?
they really need to go to Hong Kong. And in addition to that, it's clear that regarding Thales responsible, there is no doubt on the reasons why they did not spontaneously share the bank accounts of a shell company. The answer is in the fact that it is a shell company created to welcome suspect illicit flows. But we again, the case is not terminated in France. The case is not terminated in France. So still investigations are pending, and I have in memory the fact that in some corruption cases, sometimes some events which could appear as absolutely unlikely, not believable, feel that the case is completely blocked, and at the end, chook. Sometimes we can have a good surprise. So everything can happen in the case until the end.
If the accounts are in Hong Kong, how can the Malaysian government help you obtain the information?
They can request it as well. So that would.
So it is the responsibility of Malaysian authorities. It is not our role to say to the Malaysian authorities what they have to do, but it is the responsibility of the Malaysian authorities to do it or not.
But do we know if the Malaysian authorities are already working on Terra Sassi accounting? Nobody knows, right?
We don't know yet. Perhaps we will know. Perhaps they have already did it. Perhaps they envisage to do it. This kind of information certainly could be known in the next weeks or months.
Are you going to stress that out when you're going to meet them this afternoon?
We don't want to enter too much into the details of our conversation here. We are here to answer to the questions more than to ask anything and of course to give any recommendation and advices. We respect, of course, the judicial authorities as completely independent, and we are here at their disposal to answer to various questions. And I'm sure that they do not need us to understand the importance to ask to Hong Kong to cooperate.
It must be on Google, but can you just spell Terra Sassi so that we're sure we're on the same page?
I think it's
Terrace.
T-E-R-R-A-S-E. Yeah.
Terra Sassi. T-E-R-A-S-A-S-I.
Yeah, 2 R's but only 1 S.
And you believe that this is your smoking gun, the final piece in the puzzle, and once you have this, the case is solidified?
That's what
We cannot make any. It would be stupid for me to make a 100% prediction. But it's very likely that the fact that all the flows in this bank account could clear and give a definitive highlight and who were the beneficiaries of the commission. Because this payment done on this shell company was made for individual, not for the contract. Who are the individual? I can repeat again, who are the beneficiaries here without, I'm sure they're being deported this afternoon.
Yeah.
So who are the beneficiaries of the Commission? And of course, all the eyes are on Najib Razak. All the eyes are on him, clearly. But without prejudice also of possible kick commission to other individuals.
I just want to clarify, Monsieur Bourgogne, is this your first time back to Malaysia since you were deported back in 2012?
Yes.
And how are you feeling about
I already dream for a new travel here and to be back.
New hopes, feeling hopeful about it?
Yes, but we you know, it is a privilege when you are a lawyer to not only to try to give the best service possible to your client, but also you are much more enthusiastic to do it when you have created full and long-term friendly relationship, as it is the case today with our friends in Kuala Lumpur.
So in this meeting with the government officials of Malaysia, you won't be bringing any new evidence to the table? Or
No.
Just a recap?
No. The mandate of a lawyer is not to be the vehicle of any kind of pieces of evidence. It is not our job.
Professor Baginda once said he taken the commissions, but it is meant for lobbying purposes. It's not corruption. Is that still a crime in French legislation?
This is an important question, a very technical question. Baginda lawyers said he cannot be indicted because he was not a public agent. And you can be a public agent regarding international law by your legal position, but you can be also a public agent not because of your legal position, but because you act clearly as a mandator of the state, for the benefits of the state. And there is a debate here. The debate is not definitively solved. It should be solved in the year. It's very technical, so I'm not going to enter the details, but we have good reasons to consider that at the end, Baginda, despite his strategy, should be tried, as the 4 other individuals.
If he is tried, does he need to be brought to France?
Yeah, he would, if he is indicted in France, and he should be tried in France.
Does France need to get an extradition from Malaysia?
Well, he's not in Malaysia. What we understand is that he showed up for his indictment, that he's probably based in the UK, so for now there is no difficulty, and we'll see what happens later on. Any other questions?
Is Transacy the ultimate beneficiary? We don't know.
Well, we know it stops there, and then we want to know what happens after.
The entire commission went to Hong Kong. Then nothing
Yeah,
left.
this commission, yeah.
Bon, il y a d'autres flux.
Oui, mais c'est la commission de terrain. Tout est parti là-bas. Les 30 millions, c'est là-bas.
Just to establish the fact that it was so important that the French investigators actually discovered another company, Terasasi, because all this while in Parliament they were only reporting about Perimecca getting the 114 million.
True.
Yeah.
And then I think the cooperation with the Hong Kong authorities is very essential because there may appear to be other companies as well. So it's left to be seen. But you know, even for 1MDB, it has been quite difficult to get cooperation from Hong Kong. So we need to figure out how to get there.
Yeah.
Since Hong Kong has been quite reluctant to cooperate, does it mean that we can safely say
Sorry?
Since Hong Kong has been reluctant to
Yes.
cooperate, does it mean that we can safely assume that we can never get this last puzzle?
We're still hoping we'll get it, this last puzzle. And also, we cannot exclude the fact that some elements might be here also. And if Malaysia decides to also request assistance from Hong Kong, if Hong Kong gets both requests, then maybe they will be less reluctant to cooperate. So we're not shutting that door at all.
We live in hope. Because
Otherwise we
we
wouldn't be
pursued
here.
this for 7 years and more.
Yes.
So, but I think the one other aspect is Hong Kong's Anti-Corruption Commission, the International Anti-Corruption Commission, has a very credible reputation for being one of the best in Asia. So it looks kind of bad that they are trying to put a stop to this, So I think the positive way is for Malaysia to actually remind them that they have an excellent reputation. So it's important to work together.
Also, what is the communication between previous government to the Chinese government and the current government with the Chinese government? So that probably will help as well.
Yeah.
So let's go.
That's
Anything
okay.
else?
Okay, we have to go, I guess.
Okay, if no more questions, thank you very much. I know it was a very short notice.
Thank you very much for everybody.
Yeah, it was very short notice. We pushed 3:30 to morning again because of the AG's meeting. But what is important is last time when Suaram took up this case, it's not for Suaram alone. It was for the Malaysians, for everyone. Because at that point of time was difficult to pursue anything in our country at that point of time. So we have the collective responsibility to keep on asking questions to the AGs, defense ministers, MACC, because they're going to meet today and they leave today. So we need to continue to push the government and then keep this hope alive, so that what happened in the Scorpene case, and probably there is a link or there is no link with Alcantoya, so all these other cases as well.